Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tap. Cousin Donnie, man, you're looking handsome tonight in a little Team Jagoff gear.
And you wonder why that is. It's a special day, isn't it, Jim? It's a day where you get to dress up like somebody else. And I thought, what an opportunity to dress up like Uncle Jimmy. I got my Team Jagoff shirt. I got my Team Jagoff hat. I'm the most handsome guy in the world. Tonight's going to be incredible. And I think we're gonna have a good night. That's all.
So, really quick for the fans. Unfortunately, our guest tonight had a little issue getting on. I know he was born in the 50s and 60s. So my boy Jibs, he unfortunately couldn't figure out how to get on, and we were trying to mess with his phone and computer and so on. So unfortunately tonight, Jibs will not be a guest on our show, Donnie. I know you're upset, and I had an incredible rapid fire ready for him too. So
I was pumped. I was pumped to hear what you were going to break out tonight. And I honestly love Jibs, and I was super excited to hear from him. So he'll be on next week, though. He already committed to next week. He said, "I know we got the show to do. I'm sorry to happen to you. We'll get back on to next week." But regardless, tonight will be incredible.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure him out. Right, get in front of him and grab his phone and do it for him. So I'm sure it's just a couple quick buttons, but that's okay. He did the next week. We got a ton of people already jumping on. So want to say hello to our boy Ram, our boy Anthony Stacy, Mary Patterson, our nephew Pete. Welcome, Tony DeVito, Joseph. Patrick Malone, Jeff Naraki, and Mr. Dave Butterfield. So, how is everything going, Donnie? I know coming off of the Hall of Fame weekend, it was awesome for us and the red carpet. I know, unfortunately, your wife put the shebang on you, and you were not allowed. You got to make the wife happy. Happy wife, happy life. We know that, right? So
correct. Thank you for that. I appreciate William Russ stepping in and doing a fine job with the night, and he was awesome. I watched all the interviews. Great time for you guys at the Hall of Fame dinner. Pumped for you. But the week has been good. I've got some housekeeping things I want to tell everybody before we get into the chatter about the show. If whenever you want me to, I got some things we got to talk about. So you let me know when you want me to start these.
Yeah. Well, before we get there, why don't we talk about the December 13th? We got a bunch of tournaments. Yeah. Let's talk about all the things in the future, and then we'll talk about our boy the villain winning the Berwyn League and all the stuff that's happened with the Lushes winning up north with the girls that we posted. We got a lot of updates on that. We can talk about the Berwyn Co-Ed League, but let's just start with December 13th because obviously it's the tournament that we're running over at the GoPro Sports Dome, $20 per person. We're currently at 51 people have entered. So realistically, we need another 29 people to have 10 people on a team. Obviously, we have 6 weeks, so there's a long time still left for people to sign up. But I was amazed that we're at 51 already with 6 weeks to go.
Pretty cool.
So and I think with the Thanksgiving tournament and Pops and a lot of those guys, hopefully they can promote and get people as well. I know they do a great job of having teams out on Thanksgiving, and basically doing what they do every single year at Harrison Park. So
I'm pumped about it. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to play, and I've never made an event just because we have things planned with my kids and the family and stuff like that. But if there's ever one time, I would love to actually make it out there. But so let's get on to December 13th, just as we said.
Yep, go ahead. So what do you say? How many people do we have so far?
So we have 51. Everyone knows it's the GoPro Sports Dome. The bar is now open. I do have cameras in the dome now. So if you come out there, you're able to watch from the bar. You'll be able to watch the games in the bar, what's going on in the dome, which I think is a pretty cool thing just for the not having people to, of course you could still sit in the dome, but at the same time, you have the freedom to sit at the bar if you'd like to. So it's a little bit of both, right? We also, that day, we're going to be picking a charity. So I'm not sure the charity yet that we're going to pick, but that's something that maybe at a later show we can, figure something out for. And then that day we'll start at 7 p.m. and we'll run till 2 in the morning. So
yeah,
we should be.
That's going to be a fun time for everybody that's already signed up. And if, the great part about it now, Jim, is if the team loses, there's still plenty of stuff to do. You can go play the slots. You got dartboards, you got pool tables, you got everything in there for people to be entertained. So,
yeah.
Golf simulator. Yeah, you've got entertainment in there for you. So it's not like last year where if you lost, you just kind of sat around because nothing was ready yet. But what a heck of an improvement to the place. Incredible, as you would say.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome.
I agree. I have the next thing I want to talk about. Our guy, Mike Henricks from Chuck's, runs a company called Cut Shot Sports. If you haven't heard of it, you haven't watched our show, Cut Shot, 16-inch softball bats. He's doing a Halloween sale on his website right now. It's a one-day only sale, ends 10/31. He's marked down all of his bats. I want to say 15%. So right now you can get a bat for $178. His balanced bat, the end-loaded bats are $178 the one piece, and then the blue bat is $212, which I think is the best one so far that I've tried. I also like the balanced black one, and then the two pieces at $204. So really good prices on his bats, and he's running that sale through the end of the day. So get on there and try to get yourself a bat before that sale wraps up.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
What other tournament? I know that there's a tournament coming up too that Mr. Butterfield sent us.
Yes.
That we were.
Why
don't you go ahead and share that? I've got the details.
Yep. That's the 15th annual Wounded Warriors Co-ed fundraiser tournament. That's on Saturday, November 2nd. So this Saturday at Eisenhower Park in Hillside, Illinois. It is over a century of service to veterans, which is great. It is the Disabled American Veterans supporting Dav Verdon. Pretty cool tournament. I know there's usually a pretty good turnout for the co-ed event. So if you guys are interested in playing a little co-ed and not on a team, maybe reach out to somebody, and then you can get on that one, which would be a fun day. But yeah, there's the two, and then that's the two kind of things I wanted to mention before we got into everything.
All right, so let's get into the Hall of Fame. What an incredible night. We had the several. Oh, that's nice.
I like the black. The black. This is the one that I use. There's plenty of hits in this bat. Black Cut Shot. These are balanced. I like these a lot. These have been really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So before you cut me off with the Cut Shot bat, let's talk about the Hall of Fame. So the Hall of Fame was awesome. We had people getting in left and right that night in regards to inducted into the Hall of Fame. People that are close to us, both Petey Raines, Anthony Tyler, Joe Polito. I'm trying to think of the gentleman, drawing a blank on the gentleman's name from the Rebels. Tall guy, Tom Nepety.
Nepety. Yep. He's on our show.
We had bunch of guys get in that night, which I think was cool to see. Matt Dozen also taking the Frank Holland Award. He had the longest speech of the night at 7 minutes. So
Wow.
both Kyle and I were timing the speeches. A bunch of teams also got in that night, and our boy Gio, he got in that night for media. So it was definitely some entertaining speeches, let's just say. Matty Dozen's speech, though, was 7 minutes long, but his was probably the most detailed of the speeches because he actually gave the history of what the award was for and who the gentleman was, family, and so on, which was nicely done. And then came back to kind of pat himself, obviously, on the back, his family, and some of the people that were special to him, which was definitely really cool to see. So, yes. So we just had a comment in this thing about staples. So we're going to get there to the best Halloween costumes of the night. That's one of our segments tonight. Jibs was unable to join, but getting back to the Hall of Fame, that was one. The shortest speech of the night, Donnie, Mr. Tommy Balick with 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Nice.
So one of his teams, co-ed teams, were inducted in the Hall of Fame. He gave the speech 1 minute and 9 seconds. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see.
What was the bet? Like, what was the live betting favorite for longest speech? Who did you think was going to take up the most time?
Matty Dozen.
You knew it before it was going to happen?
Oh, 100%, yes.
Okay.
But I didn't know what his speech was going to be, but I knew he was going to be well prepared, and which he was. So,
yeah.
But his 7 minutes didn't seem like 7 minutes because he had a lot of good detail. He had a lot of good information. Mm-hmm. He talked about the gentleman whose the award is named after. It was a lot of cool things that were said that honestly I don't think anyone in the room even knew about. So the family, he reached out to the family. Like he did a lot of professional things with receiving that award, which is kind of what I expect out of Matty, right? I don't know if you saw both Kyle, myself, and Will. We had some incredible ties. Incredible. We had a red tie, and it was
incredible. Was it red? Was it red, Jim?
It was like red. Kyle and I had black suits going. Will, decided just to wear whatever he wanted. Didn't want to match with us, but overall, it was just a fun night. And I know Will had a blast. I know Kyle had a blast. I had a blast. We rolled out the red carpet. People were laughing about the red carpet. So, all in all,
Mudville.
Yeah. No, it wasn't for Mudville, but
well done,
we
Chris.
Could say it was.
Well done. Incredible. Yeah,
we could say it was. So, you, on the other hand, didn't show up to the Hall of Fame. No. You no-showed us.
Well,
and you earned your Team Jagoff hat and T-shirt.
I did. Yes. I not only did I get the chance to play on the team and get roasted by everybody on the team when I played with you guys in Marshalltown. That's just kind of like a continuous roast that I've earned. Mickey Balestri, this is actually his shirt. This is number 77 for Mick Balestri. So thanks, shout out to him. He's my mother's most hated softball player. He's going to get a kick out of this episode. So he hasn't left me alone since Marshalltown when he gave up 20 runs in the second game and I went in to pitch for him. He hasn't been nice to me since that moment. So we'll figure it out with him. But he is thankful for our show because we got him on a team for next year.
We did get him on a team. And it says, remember when I used to play the great game, me and Jimmy used to go at it on the field. He is correct. We used to. That was Chris Johnson saying that about the good old days, Donnie.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, Jim. From the Hall of Fame dinner and an event, who was your favorite person to interview and why?
Ooh, it's a good question. We did about 20. We did about 25 interviews.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, every interview lasted about 2 or 3 minutes, and we literally asked every guest who was the best looking player they played with. That was our last line. And believe it or not, you weren't mentioned at all. Go figure.
I saw a few videos.
I was mentioned a little bit, and Jeff Berger took down the prize.
Really?
Yes. Well, you got to remember, these guys are old timers. They're retired. At this point, most of them are retired softball players. So Jeff Berger in his day, he was the best looking man. So the best interview I would say that night. That's a great question because I interviewed a lot. I had a lot of great interviews. Some people who are texting me today saying I haven't posted their interview yet. I just didn't want to post all 25 at once because I'd rather have people watch them than post 25 of them and no one watch them, right? So I've been posting them 4 at a time. We interviewed a guy from the first class, which was a really cool story. I don't remember his name, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. But he was one of the first people inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it was the first time I've ever met him. And he had a great story about how, he felt younger, which I like to hear, standing next to Will and I. I also told him that he also looks better by standing up against Will and I, in the interview. Yeah. So he laughed and he giggled. And he talked about the old days, like I think it was the 50-year anniversary of I want to say Soldier Field softball tournament, which was something that I'd never heard of before. So
that's cool.
It was a cool interview just because I did not know who he was, and he knew we didn't know who he was, and he stood in line and he waited, boy. He waited for his time to interview, and he did. He came right on there, and he was not afraid. Oh, there's his name right there.
Tom Bonin?
Bonin, yep. So Tom, he stood in line, man, with his wife, and his wife's like, "Are you really going to go interview with these guys?" And he's like, "Absolutely." So
I love that.
There was another interview that we did, which was one of the first ones, and the gentleman had a picture of you, and he wanted to get by cousin Donnie, who did a face plant around second base at the Melrose tournament. And the funny thing is our boy Richie, he actually had to call me the next day and said there was a huge dent that he couldn't fix just to the left side of second base in the field.
Richie Rico?
That is the
that is actually 100% accurate. I did face plant absolutely around second base in that game. That was unbelievable. I did find the Tom Bonin Hall of Fame page. He was the founder of the Windy City Softball magazine and a developer of the Windy City Softball Stadium in Bridgeview during the mid-1970s. He organized the Winston softball circuit and World Series and other tournament venues. I mean, just an advocate for the game in the 1970s, ahead of his time when he was the first to get a corporation to sponsor a sporting event campaign. Pretty cool. He did a lot for the game of softball. His organizing skills, on the soccer front with his kids, when he developed Southwest Soccer Club and was part of the sports columnist for the daily Southtown. So really, really cool. He's been kind of all over the city, attracted more viewers than the Cubs and the Sox on the World Series softball finals in 1996-97. So that's pretty cool. Just a little glimpse of Tom, and I know he's probably going to watch the show. And hopefully he hears this shout out. So we're appreciative of him a whole lot.
A little shout out to Tom. Like I said, he looked incredible for all of 3 minutes standing next to us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The worst interview.
Yeah, who's the worst?
Mickey Balestri Jr.
Why?
We had to force him to come on the show, and then he wanted to talk to everyone else but us during his interview.
You know what drives me insane about Mick? Mickey will talk to anybody at any time, anywhere. But when you put a camera on Mick, he don't want to talk to anybody.
He folds.
He don't want to talk to you. He folds behind the spotlight. That's all I'll say. Mick, man, it's tough. You put a microphone in that guy's face, and he forgets how to talk.
It's incredible. So right now, before we keep moving forward, we are gonna get to our spot of the show that is about the Halloween, right? So today's Halloween, so happy Halloween to everyone. But I got this costume sent in, and this is from a member of our show. Okay, he follows us on Facebook, he follows us on YouTube, and everything else. And there was a gentleman who we made famous on the show. His name is Staples. Okay.
Yep.
And so I have to share this because we actually had one of our viewers dress up as Staples. If you look, he's got the neck brace. He's got everything. I mean, he's got the 16-inch clincher. So this could be one of the best costumes, I think, of all time for Halloween.
I got to know, Jim, who is that dressed up like that? Because they deserve anything they want on our show. They can come on the show and talk about it as much as they want. That guy deserves a drink at Papa Magoo's on the house. That guy looks incredible. Look at that. He's got the neck brace and the backwards hat. Who is that? I want to know who that is.
I have no idea who it is. No clue. Maybe one of the guests watching the show right now could tell us. The picture, I believe, was sent to me. It was sent to me over the weekend, and I don't know off the top of my head. I can't remember who it was, but this picture, I mean, it's the best Halloween costume I've seen all year. And our fans and our supporters who watch the show would know Staples when you see him. And I did see Staples, by the way, at the Hall of Fame banquet. He did an interview.
He did an interview.
Yes.
He did. He said I wasn't there because I didn't want to pay for the ticket.
Yes.
Spot on, Mr. Staples. You got it. I got to know who that is. If any one of our followers right now watching know who this is in this costume, please let us know. We need his information.
JP says the only thing missing is a pizza box.
He does love good slice.
That is pretty funny. So the next, who came in second place. So I only uploaded 2 because I had a lot sent to me. But the second best costume that I saw, I know, Donnie, you're itching to say this one, aren't you?
What I really wanted to say before you showed it, Jim, before you put it on there, if anyone has any good costumes that they wore, because tonight's Halloween, so people are going to be dressing up today. We'll probably be stealing photos off of Facebook. We can show next week in softball who else dressed up in the game, right? We have more material tonight and this weekend for tomorrow's show. So go on and show the next individual and his wonderful costume.
Oh, don't tell me it's not going to load.
No, you're kidding me.
Oh, it better not load. It's
Jim,
not loading.
This is disappointing.
I know. I'm so disappointed.
Jim, try something else.
I'm trying. Hold on. Let me see something. Oh, it's not going to load. I don't know why it does that sometimes.
Oh, pull it up on your phone.
Yeah. I'm going to pull it up on the phone.
You have your phone right next to you?
I sure do.
This is this is probably the best costume. That is Julian Russell dressed as, I believe, his significant other, and he looks like one hell of a woman. Oh, what a beauty! What a beauty!
He makes he makes it look good on himself. Maybe he's got a profession there.
Yeah, skip softball, Julian. We got plenty of money to be made out there with you.
I just can't believe that won't load.
Oh, that's a bummer, but it's all right. Everyone saw it. Hopefully, he's embarrassed.
Yeah.
Enough. That's our guy Julian Russell, who we mention on the show a lot.
So, Julian, I haven't, the rumor mill has kind of come down big time. We haven't really heard much in rumor mill, but I did get an official confirmation today that the Players Inc. and Impact is going to happen. They're going to play in the Melrose League, and they're going to be called Players Inc. So
what are they going to be called?
Players Inc. That will be
Players
their
Inc.
team. Yep. So
they're playing in the Rosemont Dome too, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. So the Rosemont Dome, if I heard, was 8 teams. It's like $1,300, 12 something. That's what I was told. And you play 7 games because you play every team once, and then I believe they have a playoffs. Correct.
Correct. So it's going to be 6. I believe it's 6 weeks long. It's once a week. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. We play next week Tuesday against Fat Kids, so we'll give you a recap on how that goes on the show when I see you guys next. But it's 6 weeks long. Like you said, it's a little pricey, but I think it's just for this year to see who is truly invested in playing. I know that place isn't cheap, right? I hope that place. I don't think that place is cheap to rent for that time frame. I have no idea.
I don't think any sports dome would be cheap. So
yeah, I have no idea. You know more. So, actually, you would know more than anybody.
So the other thing I would say is that I know that a lot of the people that are playing in that dome are from the north side. So I mean that's a perfect thing. People are living right in that area, which makes total sense. I know people reached out to me about running a league as well, which I could still run a league if we wanted to. We can easily do it throughout the week. The dome would be ours anytime after 9 or 9:30. You know, I don't want to put it all together and have to chase teams, right, to show up and everything else. So I don't know. I mean, we could easily probably do it ourselves too, but I wouldn't want to start ours till probably middle of January if I did it.
Yeah.
You go January, February, March, and end it in March.
And then you roll right into the season.
And then roll into the season. Yeah, that would be something that I'm looking forward to. And then, you know, of course, we can have tournaments. And I think once the teams are kind of all settled, you know, all the major teams, which I think they're coming to being settled now. And then you have some of the 8 teams that are still kind of searching for guys. Once all those things are settled, I think we're going to run a tournament. I know Francisco from the SSA has been reaching out to me. I think he's going to try to do something on the 15th or 16th of November. So that'll be before the Thanksgiving tournament and before the tournament I'm going to run on December 13th. So hopefully we can get people to sign up. I don't know, Francisco, I think he might do something just with the teams in his league or something along those lines. I don't know the details, but if he does, I'm sure the word will get out quickly. And then, like I said, December 13th will be the first tournament for, you know, major players, A players, B players in the dome. And then
excellent.
And then in January, by December 13th, I will have when the next tournament will be. And so how I'm going to do that, what I'm going to do, what I would like to do is do like a Donnie, and tell me if I'm wrong, if it's a good idea. What I would like to do is do like groups of 4. So what I'm saying is that you would come to the dome, a team of 4, you would play your quadrant. Okay. So your quadrant would play. The winner of that quadrant, right, then would come back to play the semifinal night and play 2 games as well in a tournament. So you're not playing all at one night. And then I also would like to do something like kind of like a round robin thing where you would maybe, if we get 16 teams or 8 teams, and you play everyone in your group, and that would be in like a one night setting where you would come over the course of maybe 3 or 4 weeks. But every time you're coming to the dome, you're playing a doubleheader. And that's so that way.
That's what we want. Yep.
Yeah. And with the bar, you know, you can either drive out early, have dinner. If you get there late, you can hang out afterwards, have a beer. You know, I'll keep the kitchen open late, whatever it may be. But, you know, that way you know you're driving out. And if you live anywhere off 55, it's probably going to be about a 30-minute ride. And you're there. And, you know, when you show up, you're playing 2 games. And so that's something that's pretty. So it says.
I agree. I think it's a huge draw, 100%, Jim, for doubleheaders. How does it work for overnight tourneys and the bar? Obviously, you can't stay open till the tournament ends, right? Well, JP, Jimmy runs the show. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. However, I'm sure the state has something to say about that, right? With like the time.
Well, I mean, the machines shut off at, I believe, closing time. The bar can stay open. You just can't serve, right? So it's not like I have to throw people out. I just can't legally serve a drink. But in the dome's a completely separate entity. So I don't have to worry about following, drink times and things like that in the dome, because I'm not technically serving liquor in the dome. So I wouldn't have to worry about that at all. But yeah, that's a good question, JP. We can obviously stay open as late as we want in the dome, and we wouldn't have any problems whatsoever. So, I mean, we could work out and figure that out. That wouldn't be an issue whatsoever.
Yep.
So
that's great. I think it's a great opportunity for you to show off the work that you've put into the place, because I've been there recently. It looks awesome. It's a great time. It's super social, good atmosphere, and then for the guys to go play softball afterwards is a huge plus.
Well, and now that we have the cameras in the dome, I think it's going to be really cool to be able to watch from the bar what's going on in the dome, right? So, just another added bonus that we can provide.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. So, what are some of the other I know we had a couple other topics we wanted to touch on tonight.
The Genera Park Fall Leagues, which actually ended up being super competitive. The co-ed stuff, I did the end of that game. The Villain, your boy, Jason, Pops, Trey, Kodo, Chucky. There's some girls on that team that were outstanding. I mean, hit the ball further than some of the guys that I know. And then they won that game in bottom of the seventh against Robbie Grisano's GOAT team, which was a fun game to be a part of and watch.
So did I hear that Grisano got thrown out of another game? So that's 2 games in the last week for Robbie?
Oh, no, he just got thrown out of the co-ed game. That's all I know. I don't know if he got thrown out of anywhere else, but he did get thrown out. He did indeed get thrown out of the co-ed game.
Nice.
Discrepancy at the plate. The ball, was she safe? Was she out? The umpire said out. Robbie disagreed. And he let the umpire know that he disagreed, and he didn't play the 7th inning. And then Scotty Hrdecki, who had to pitch and came out of nowhere and had to pitch, ended up with a big walk. He walked Chucky, which loaded the bases. Pretty much sealed the deal on the game.
Yeah, obviously we were able to film that last 20 minutes live. So that was really cool to be able to do that. We also posted this week, I believe they were out at, I believe it was Oriole Park up on the north side.
Yep, Eddie Barzowski.
Yes, and so we had a couple gentlemen reach out to us, wanted to live stream the game for us, which is what we've always said. And they were on our page, and I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, they really did. They were pretty hilarious, and at the same time, they were able to go ahead and talk a little bit about the women as well. So it says Gabby was with the MVP.
She was the first baseman for that team. Caught looking stud, double left center gap, like pounds the ball. We played against her, and I pitched against her, and before she hit, I said, "How do I get you out?" And she said, "You can't." And I didn't. She's a pretty darn good player.
Really?
Yeah, very impressive.
Did she out hit you on the men's level?
No.
Yeah. You got it? You could take her on the men's level?
She's got me, dude. She's good. Yeah, 100%. Right. I did hit a home run off Robbie, though. I had a homer off Robbie in co-ed. Maybe he was mad about that.
Yeah, so JP said Gabby is Al Rice's sister from Hex.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Family ties with cousin Al.
She's part of the Hex crew.
Maybe she's going to work at Magoo's.
Maybe. So
how was the Halloween costume party at Papa Magoo's? Awesome.
It was great. Friday night was an awesome time. We had a ton of fun. There was a lot of costumes, a lot of good costumes. The Batman and Batwoman won the Halloween costume party. I mean, we gave out $500. I mean, it was really cool. A lot of Three Blind Mice came in second, I believe. Caesar, I believe, came in third. All really cool costumes. So, we had a photo booth. We had a ton of cool stuff. But let's get back on softball. Donnie, unfortunately we don't really get to have many shows where it's just you and I without a guest. I know tonight, guys, we had Jibs scheduled. It was unfortunate he couldn't figure out his phone and how to get on.
Mm-hmm.
So Donnie and I are running with it here for a quick 45-minute little show. And Donnie, I wanted to ask you, as a young guy that plays softball as much as you do, what do you want to see in the game 5 years from now?
That's a great question. Right off the top of my head, I would like to see softball streamed on a national level. I would like to see some sort of exposure to a larger audience through media, right? Adam Cumby, great job with Forest Park. Honestly, Gio does a great job streaming his games. We stream stuff on our page. I would like to see some sort of media outlet take more interest in 16 inch softball. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how we get to that point. I know we tried it before. To be honest, Jim, I know we were talking about a TV spot with, I believe it was like W, or what was that? What was that channel?
It was basically Me TV.
Yeah.
They
really
wanted
expensive. Yeah.
Well, the expensive part of it was the production company. And so Duff and I asked around. I mean, it was 20, 25, 30K or more
just
to get a production company out there. So that's where the expense comes in. I think in order for us to do this, we would have to have someone or something from ESPN and utilize their production. Even if it was ESPNU or because all your local stations, unfortunately, are not going to come out. Like, I've already reached out to them. It comes by really kind of who you know.
Yeah.
And we might fall into something. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But I'll tell you this. If we keep posting videos of the Birdman, we're going to go viral.
Oh, my God. That guy is unstoppable on social media. Both of his posts are bonkers in terms of viewers and audience.
So the one, I posted both of them on the same night, as you know, from the Berwyn Fall League a couple weeks ago. The one video currently is over 500,000 plays and over 400,000 people reached. Okay. His second video, which at first I posted them at the same time, but the second one did not do that well. It was only at about 5,000. But I emailed you yesterday and I said, dude, it hit some type of rhythm on social media and it's going to explode now. And sure enough, over the last day, we're over 115,000 plays and views on his second at bat. So,
and it's just like a ground out shortstop. He didn't hit a homer. He didn't do anything special. I mean, he argued with Rich Hennessy, which is awesome and hilarious, but it wasn't like his performance was through the roof.
You know what? Bird is putting value in 16-inch softball, and that's all we can ask from the Birdman.
I agree with you on that end. Bird is helping out the viewership of the game. I do appreciate the 5-year question of what I would like to see in the game. Like we try to do with this show every week, Jim. We're trying to grow the game, right? We're trying to get exposure to the sport. And I think some sort of national media outlet taking and seeing how invested we are in this game and how fun this game is to watch, because it's super unique, right? We'll see ESPN 8, they got dumb shit on there all the time. Why don't we put our dumb shit on there and show off how cool that is, right? I wanna kind of ask you, now that you've been playing the game for a long time, and kind of like the question you asked me, but what I know you talk about changing the game a lot, and Saturdays are important, and I agree with you on that aspect. But have you had any of our guests that have given you an answer that really kind of struck a chord with you, something that you have thought about, deeply and thought, man, this guy's got a really good point. Which one of our guests has done that for you in terms of you asking them the question?
Well, I mean, the Chris Guerin thing still sticks out to me about having different formats, different tournaments, for
Agreed.
what we do. That's
Agreed.
the biggest one I think that has stuck out to me. I know it's been as of recent. We've had the stat one, which kind of already taken into play. That's kind of what the SSA did this past year with the stats, is what PJ said, I believe, about over a year ago on our show. We've had, shorter tournaments. Obviously, we've talked about that. And then there's been other things about umpires that I thought were pretty interesting. Maybe if we want to grow our game, our umpires got to get a little better too. I mean, that was the one thing I think that Rismondo, when they came in and what they kind of said, the umpires got to be better,
Sure.
And then, I know Steve John put out there, but Rismondo and the 12-inch guys. Yeah, I mean, I have reached out now to a handful of the 12-inch teams. My goal here is to have a panel with these guys about 16-inch softball. So it's gonna happen. I'm just trying to line it out. I know I've got like 3 people right now that have already said I'm in, and I'm just trying to find 3 more people. A panel of 6 with you and I would be a panel of 8, and I think we can go live and do a pretty cool show about the 12-inch game. And maybe we could draw some attention, to your point, to some of those nationally TV stations and things like that, where if we have the 12-inch versus the 16-inch teams and a true major national, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
And maybe that's something we could do. And I know I've reached out to Melman. I've reached out to Richie Melman, and I've reached out to some of the other players that had a big part in that TV league. I know Rich wanted to join us, wanted to come on. He wanted to get a gentleman that invented the cut swing.
Yeah.
So I have not heard back from them since then. So, I know I've mentioned, trying to get him on. I think that's a huge plus for our game again. And just using his contacts and some other things. But, he hasn't been around the game in probably 25 years.
Sure. Makes sense.
So, it's been quite some time since he's been out of the game. But we have a lot of people now that are connected to pro athletes. There's a gentleman, I believe, that cuts hair for the Bulls that plays 16-inch softball.
Cruz. That's Mike Cruz.
Mike Cruz. I'm sure, Kevin Duff with his company, Nate Mercado and what they do. They're constantly Izzy and those guys, they're always working the shows with the actors, with, Chicago PD and the fire and doing all those things. So it's just, I think, one of the cool things to see, and maybe somewhere we catch a break. Sure. I don't know.
I'm with you. And that's
really what it comes down to.
Yeah. I think it was going to be whatever helps us hit that plateau of the investment being worth it, if that makes sense, right? Because that's, like you mentioned, that's a hell of an investment. And for someone to make that investment in a 16-inch game, they're going to have to see the value in the sport. Come out to Forest Park, come out to Papa Hops. You'll be invested. That's just the way it's going to go. Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to see Barstool step up and possibly take on the show or take on 16-inch softball and see some of the value that we can grow with, some of the videos and some of the things that we've been doing. That'd be cool to see too. If Barstool, I know they're a part of the Papa Hops tournament, they throw a team in there, but it'd be cool. And I know I've got some contacts there, but it's always like pulling teeth to try to get through to those people. I'm sure they got a million people trying to reach out to them. Like, I totally get it, but no one is like us, Donnie. and I think what we're trying to do is completely different.
Agreed. I agree with you.
So,
I'm with you 100%, man.
And that's really what it takes sometimes. You just takes a break. And the other thing is too, is now with some of the avenues with the bar and utilizing a lot of the vendors, somewhere down the road here, I'm going to have ESPN come to the bar radio, and that could be our end too. Right. And
Cool.
it's something that we can just promote and maybe build our connections that way. I know Tommy Reamer's got a bunch of connections, so I know he's got an event coming up at his bar, I believe on December 5th or 6th. He's got I believe it's like a Santa trolley thing that he's doing out there. So we definitely appreciate the Beacon Tap for all that they do for us. There's a lot of cool things, a lot of cool avenues that we can work to continue to promote our game. And, obviously business owners, there's a lot of individuals that may know people. So
that's a question. Yeah, we've got one coming up December. Go ahead, Jim. Tell them.
Yeah, Maddox. So your question, just so the viewers could see, do you guys have any indoor tournaments this winter? Yeah. So we are, we have, December 13th, we have a charity tournament. You could sign up. We have 51 people currently right now. It's $20 a person, and it's going to be a draft tournament. So you can sign up individually, and you're going to be thrown on a team with 10 other guys. And so I'm going to try to do every roster with 10. If I get more than 80, then I'll do every roster with 11. I'll cap it at 88. If I get more than 88, then I'll cap it at 96. I'm not going any more than 96, but I mean, we're 6 weeks away and we're at 51. So we need another 39 or 29 people to get to 80, another 39 to get to 90. So Donnie, I think we'll get there. It's just going to take some time, but I think we'll do, and we continue to promote. So Mary says, yeah, he's got a couple bar crawls, multiple weekends. That's the Santa thing. So that's what the Beacon Tap is doing. And did anyone else go to as Donnie Rollins for Halloween? Did anyone else dress up for you, Donnie?
No, but I dressed up as you, so
that
you
counts.
Got one. You got one.
You're the second person that has dressed up this year for Halloween. Our boy Jackson from Magoo's, Papa Magoo's, he actually dressed up as me in a BMO outfit.
Hey, an outfit that we don't get to see you very often in, though, in the show. We don't get to see you in much BMO gear.
That is true. Because usually after work, I'll stop at the bar on the way home or whatever it may be, and I'm usually wearing BMO stuff. And so Jackson always sees me on two phones. He's always laughing. And so it was pretty funny of what he did. And how when he walked in that night, they video cammed me, and dude, I was laughing. I was so red. I was laughing, man. It was so funny.
Flattery.
So,
imitation is the highest form of flattery. Remember that.
Yeah, it is funny. It was pretty funny, and I think my staff loved it more than I did. So it made it even better.
Next week we'll have Jibs. We'll get him on there. I think we'll figure that out with him. Hopefully I can see him and fix his phone so we can get him on the show next week. But yeah, man.
Yep. And then in the weeks to come, we're gonna have the 12-inch guys, as I mentioned. I want to get that done, and then Donnie, we're gonna start a list of guests for this winter. I think it's we want to get out and promote the B level guys, the A level guys, and talk a little bit about softball as the younger kids continue to grow. I think we got to get some of the more kids your age on the show. We want to, and then I also want to get after. I would also want to get after Keith Filkins. So Keith Filkins and his daughter, I would like to. Sean Quinn says, I would love to have Uncle Jimmy answer my text. I wonder what he's talking about, Donnie. Did he text me?
Suppose you're gonna have to check the text message, Jim.
Yeah.
Check it offline.
I will. I'll definitely check it offline. He's probably. I bet you I don't know. Does your phone go to like the unknown? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So on my Apple phone, it's like say I have unknown senders. So if I don't have the number saved, it goes on unknown, and then I never see the text. So I bet
Well,
you
there
it's
you go.
in. That makes sense. I'll definitely look. Donnie, ask your fiance to fix your background. Need to dress it better.
See? You got all kinds of stuff back here.
Hey, you got a lot better background than me. I just got a window.
Stephen John loves to talk trash to you, Jim, on the show, especially. But he loves us. He loves us.
Stephen John's my buddy. Let him talk.
He's great.
Talk, okay. So, Donnie, you know what, dude? I appreciate you taking time out of your day again. We appreciate all the fans joining us tonight. Unfortunately, as we said, Jibs could not figure out how to get on the show, which makes it even better for next week because my rapid fire was absolutely incredible for tonight.
Hey, it's only going to get better, honestly.
So, I will see you.
Jimbo.
What, next week?
Next week.
Yeah, and to end the show, we have nothing for Rumor Mill because I think all the people are flattered. I think they're done. They're flattened. They're done. So I think Rumor Mill is completely dead as we speak. So this is tonight the retirement of Rumor Mill for the year 2024.
Sounds good. But what if anything pops up team wise, we'll always mention. So there you go.
There you go. We should have Nick on the show. He runs a great team in the Goons, and we'll definitely be making some noise next year at the A level. There you go. See, we're already talking trash.
Hey,
so we'll have to
Nick McLaughlin. Nick McLaughlin is my boy too. He would happily come on the show.
All right. Well, let's make that happen, Donnie. Do something for the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show. Bird, my guy Bird has done more than you. All right.
No shit. He has 500,000 views. How am I going to compete with that?
Hey, dude, Bird does it, man. Bird's a celebrity, dude. That's all I can tell you. He's like Staples. Him and Staples are celebrities. So
you're killing. All right, Jim. I'll see you later.
Night. I appreciate it. And thank you, fans, for following. We will be back next week. Are we going to go live? We'll figure out what night, whether it be Tuesday or Thursday next week.